Hello, everybody. I'm back. Hope you're all doing fabulous. I'm doing well. I had another wonderful walk today. I made sure to get that in because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Um, trying to get some messages out because I've been bombarded with ideas and things that I want to do, things that I want to say. I don't want to keep it in. I want to get it recorded and out separately, not together, not on the same day, but I want to record messages so you might see me in some of the same outfits if I do them back to back, just to record separate messages on the same day, but I'll release them another day, sometime down the road when I'm ready, when it feels right. Today, I want to talk about something that I touched on in my video yesterday, which is we chase, we don't attract. I've done a message on that before. I believe it might be private. I don't know. Eventually, all of my stuff will be public, but I'm still waiting on the right time for that. I'll know when it's the right time, and it is not quite there yet. There's still some things that need to happen before I put them back out there. So they're definitely going to be scrutinized, and I don't care what people think. I've already gone through that, and that is the past, and I am living in the now. But the time will come. Anyway, so I just want to touch back on that since I did speak about it yesterday, and I want to make sure that I get that message out consecutively with what I talked about yesterday, and so that it kind of continues on. That's why I'm glad that I'm recording these things as I'm going through this spiritual awakening and this path to enlightenment, this beautiful path. I want to help you guys. I've seen a lot of channels that have helped me from the point that I'm at now, but if you are not at the point that I am at now, those things are going to sound really foreign and the concepts will be hard to grasp. So I think as a commoner in layman's terms, I want to document this step by step as I go, as things become part of my reality, as I raise my consciousness so that people that are also on the journey can relate to me in that way, not just the things that I've gone through, but in a spiritual awakening. Undoing the training, undoing the programming, retraining your brain to think differently, to shed the conditioning. It's very important. It's very important because you already have everything that you need, but you've been taught to fear so much. It's a fear-based society, and as you live in fear, as you're afraid of this happening, or don't do that because this might happen. Fear is a lie. It's like the devil is a lie. The devil is the fear. Fear shouldn't even exist. And the more that you realize that you are motivated by fear about how it keeps you from living your life, how it keeps you from doing the things that will make you happy, it's hard. It's very hard. It's painful to shed the things that you've been taught because it doesn't always come from trauma. Sometimes it will, people that taught you those things didn't mean any harm. It's what they were taught and it was handed down. So it can be very painful to realize that you were raised on lies. But that's because somebody else was raised on lies. It's not always malicious. It's not always taught to you in a way to be manipulative or abusive. Sometimes it's just passed down because that's all that the people raised you knew, and that's all that the people raised them knew, and that's what society feeds us. And when we gobble it up and it becomes part of our reality. This new channel that I started watching, I channel songs all the time. Music is very important in my life, and it always has been. That was something that I was raised on. My father was very into music, and so that was a way that we related to each other. Was he would play things for me, old songs, things that I wouldn't come across on my own, and he would break it down. This is what this means, or this is what this person was going through, and it just intrigued me, the songwriting process and things like that. And then I was in the marching band growing up. Now, I twirled a flag. I didn't play music, but I loved being around the music. It just motivates me. It helps me to raise my vibrations. I love to dance. The song Luther by SZA and Kendrick Lamar has been in my head ever since the Super Bowl because I love her and I have a newfound appreciation for him. And that song is very melodic. The words are very much a vibe, so I dance to that. That's a big part of how I raise my vibrations, is dancing and listening to music. It's very motivational. It's very cathartic when you need to feel raw emotion and bring things to the surface so that you can feel it and let it go. Music is just such a great tool for so many things. So it's a way that I channel. I channel creativity. That's something that I'm very artistic. So when I would do cakes, when I do art, anything, like I'm channeling that. I don't have a set thing in mind when I start out. Just like with cakes, I didn't have a set design unless somebody had sent me something. But my favorite thing was for someone to tell me freestyle. That is, you get carte blanche at whatever you want to do. It's up to you. There's no of course I used to be a people pleaser, so I'd want to get something just right without copying it and infringing on someone else's original idea. So I'd always tweak something a little bit if they sent me a picture, but I'd still want to get it just right, match it as close as I could without being a carbon copy of someone else's content. But yeah, I channel it. I don't know any other way to describe it, but I channel creativity. I channel songs. Um, I'm not hearing voices in my head. I'm not schizophrenic. It's just something that I've always been able to do before I even knew that there was a name for it. I channeled things. So lately, the thing that has been popping into my head frequently, like when I first wake up in the morning, that's when if I have a song that's in my head as soon as I wake up, I know it's not me. I know that it's energetically being impressed on my brain, on my soul, whatever it is, however I'm receiving it. I don't exactly know for sure, but when I wake up with a song in my head, I know that it's not me. It's a message that I'm either receiving from my higher self or that someone is pulling on my energy, and that's from them. And I frequently have the song, and I pulled it up because it's such an older song, but it's match if I could say it, Matchbox 20 song called Push. And I'm pretty sure I know where this is coming from, but those of you that aren't familiar with the song, it says, I don't know if I've ever been good enough. I'm a little bit rusty, and I think my head is caving in. I don't know if I've ever been really loved by a hand that's touched me, and I feel like something's going to give, and I'm a little bit angry. And it says, well, this ain't over. No, not here. Not while I still need you around. You don't owe me. We might change. Yeah, we just might feel good. I want to push you around. Well, I will. I will. I want to push you down. Well, I will. I will. I want to take you for granted. Yeah, I will. And then go down and it says, well, don't just stand there. Say nice things to me because I've been cheated. I've been wronged. And you don't know me. Yeah, well, I can't change. Oh, well, I won't do anything at all. And then again, I want to push you around. I want to push you down. I want to take you for granted. Yeah, I think I know where that's coming from. And that's another thing. In my dreams, which I frequently have talked about my dreams. Oh, I've also been getting that song, Hooked on a Feeling. I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. It's a very old song. And then a few days ago, I also channeled the song that life is but a dream. Something, something sent from paradise up above. If I could be the only one that you love, life would be a dream, sweetheart. Very old song, too. I've always loved older songs. I've always felt very connected to like 50s and 60s music. And I always told my grandmother that I felt like I shouldn't say could have been born, but I could have been born. I could have lived during that time in another life. But I always told her that I should have been born in that era because that era of music really speaks to me. I just really love it. I love 50s music. I loved, we used to do different eras at school, in middle school, and dress up as the different decades. And the 50s was my favorite. I loved that my grandmother made me a poodle skirt and that I got to wear the saddle shoes, and that it was just we got to learn, the jitterbug and things like that, and I loved it. I was really that was my favorite anyway. But I channeled that song, The Life is But a Dream, and I didn't know where that came from, but I found this channel and it's called Life is But a Dream. And I was like, oh my gosh, so things don't always make sense at first when I hear them. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I know where that's coming from, like the Push song. I don't know where, still hasn't come to me why the Hooked on a Feeling. I'm not sure about that one, but The Life is But a Dream actually ended up being a channel that I found that has been very helpful to me. And there's a guy named Tone that had been on a podcast about his near-death experience, and the information that he shares with people it's so valuable. It's so raw, it's so real. He's very, very knowledgeable on spiritual things, and where he was raised in church, wasn't necessarily, and he still doesn't identify as a Christian, but he believes in God, because a lot of near-death experience, near-deathers, whatever they want to call themselves, have all experienced the same thing, and that there is a God, that we are part of God, that we are much, much bigger than this body, and we don't really die. So even though they all have different experiences, they have common themes, they have common things that all of them say. So go find you one of those channels and start listening to those if you're curious. But when you just jump straight to, there's a point I'm getting to, as far as doing my channel step by step as I'm going through the process, is that I didn't have a near-death experience, but what I did experience, it made me feel dead inside. There was a rebirth. There was a rebirth. There was a death to the old Carrie, because life as I knew it after my son was taken away would never be the same. The life that I knew died. I'm still his mother. I still love him so much, But the one thing that Tone does stress in his channel is that you have to get rid of the meanings. You have to detach from the meanings that society puts on things, or you won't be able to ascend. You won't be able to level up. You'll stay stuck in the same place, which is the low densities. When I talk about 1D and 2D and 3D and 4D, I'm not talking about dimensions. I'm talking about densities, which is your energy, which is the level that you'll vibrate at, the lower vibrations, where hate and anger and jealousy and greed, all of those things are. As you release those things, as you become more enlightened, as you open your consciousness to a higher consciousness, you connect with your higher self, the God conscience. You can leave those things behind. You've been there, done that. You want to elevate. You want to know more truth about life. You want to vibrate higher so that you can attract better things to yourself. It's the lower densities that keep you weighted down. If you know everything is energy, and energy vibrates. So we all vibrate. We all vibrate at a certain frequency. Whenever something is heavy, whenever something is dense, the gravity of this earth, the things that we are taught, in this fear-based limited belief system of a society that we live in, the meanings that are given to things will automatically weigh you down. They root you in the lower densities so that you can't elevate unless you shed them, unless you shed the meanings, unless you shed the fear, unless you shed those lower vibrational emotions that you have identified with. Get rid of the meanings. Get rid of the meanings that you've attached to things. He says that over and over in one of the first videos that I watched. But he can seem very, like his near-death experience interview, he was smiling. He was telling everybody that he loved them. But in his newer videos, the one that I saw first was a live that he was doing just a couple days ago. And it seems like he's lost some of that personable aspect to himself. And I don't want to do that. Even though I do want to ascend, I still want to be relatable to people in lower densities so that they can identify with me as a person, not as a spirit, not as an enlightened being that I am, that we all are. But I want to be relatable in a way that I can bring you up, that you can match my energy when you see me, when you feel me, that I can shift the energy in a room, that I can shift the energy in you when you watch me, so that you can see how I am of the light. I am vibrating high. I have rid myself of a lot of things that I was in the lower vibrations, and that you don't have to stay there, that you can drop that weight so that you can vibrate higher and attract better things for yourself. If I wasn't ready to hear, if I hadn't ascended enough and shed a lot of the conditioning and a lot of the lower density that I had been in previously, I wouldn't be able to receive the messages that I received from Danique on her channel, or Tone from his Life is But a Dream channel. I wouldn't be ready for that, because if it found me any other time than now, I would have thought, that's crazy, whatever. Just like some people say about me, because they're not ready to change. They're not ready to shed their conditioning and what they were taught. They're not ready to love themselves and vibrate higher and leave that life that they've known behind. And I find that even though I haven't had a near-death experience, a lot of the things that Tone was saying are things that I've also said, like Groundhog Day. When you're in lower densities and you're weighted down by that fear-based mentality, by those lower vibrating emotions, when you identify with that stuff, life can seem like Groundhog's Day. It's a broken record. You're on a hamster wheel. It's so hard to break away from it unless something breaks you open, like what happened to me. It broke me open, and it happened to me gradually over the years, but when something so traumatic happened, and I realized I didn't want to go back at any cost, I still went through all the motions trying to get my son back. But I still, in my dreams, I connect with my children on an energetic level in my dreams all the time. Last night, we played games. I played a game with both of my sons, and none of the stuff from this reality is there. We don't talk about any of the things that have happened in our life here. We don't have anything but love for each other. We don't talk about other people. We don't talk about life events. We don't talk about the past. We don't talk about the future. We just focus in the dream on the here and now, and we love each other, and we play games, and we go places, and it makes me want to tear up, not because I'm sad, but because it's so beautiful. I've always had vivid dreams, but now that I can want things, I want things in my life that aren't there, that I'm not connected with on the 3D level, in the 5D, in your dream state. I remember very vividly that I can spend time with them in the astral. And I don't care if that sounds crazy or not. You all do it too. You just don't remember it. But I remember my dreams, especially now. Ever since I've remembered my dreams a lot periodically, but ever since I lived at my uncle's house and started going through the traumatic events that have happened in the past few years, I remember my dreams almost every single night and in great detail, and they're very vivid. And even if people don't show their face by their energy, you have an energetic footprint. I will know who it is by the feeling that I get. I can read the energy of someone in my dream, even if they're trying to cloak themselves and act like somebody else. I always know. I always know who it is, whether I can see them or not. And I can see my children and spend time with them in my dream state. We leave our body when we go to sleep. Our body needs to recharge, and our soul can go anywhere. We are so much bigger than this body, so much bigger. Please go check out the near-death experiences if you're curious about that stuff, because we don't die, and we are so powerful. We just have to get in touch with that side of ourselves inside this body. There are ways without dying and coming back to do that. You just have to practice it. You just have to shed those lower densities. You have to vibrate high enough, and that's by getting rid of the conditioning. So to get into my message before this video gets too long, don't chase, attract. And what I mean by that in a broader term is, of course, like attracts like, but when you are a vibrational match for someone or something, it will naturally gravitate towards you. So if you have been pouring love into yourself, if you've been doing your shadow work, if you have been trying to be of the light and not fear and not compare yourself to other people and try to measure up with other things, you are unique. You are authentically unique and genuinely your own being. So trying to be someone else, trying to attain what they have, it's pointless. It's pointless because everything that happens to you here is predetermined. You've already signed up. You've signed a contract. So trying to be something that you're not is pointless, because it's just like trying to make plans. Like they say, life happens when you're making other plans, because you've already signed up for what's going to happen in this life. And with your free will, if you try to change that, God will intervene, and he will let you know that's not the plan. As long as you try to deviate from the plan and be in the lower densities and vibrate low, that's when you're off your path. That's when you're a runaway train. That's when bad things are going to happen to you. You're going to accumulate karma, and karma's going to come smack you in the face because you're not where you're supposed to be. We are all of God. So God doesn't hurt anybody. He loves everyone unconditionally. So when you deviate from that, bad things are going to happen until you course correct, until you wake up and realize that I've been hurting. I've been hurting people. I've been doing horrible things. And that's why I'm experiencing this karma. If I don't change and get back on course with what I signed up to do here, I'm going to just breed more of the same. I'm going to breed more horrible things for myself. I'm going to attract things that are like what I'm doing. If I'm deceitful, if I'm abusive, if I'm a liar, if I'm a hater, if I'm a troll, if I'm out there trying to ruin reputations for my own selfish gain, to make things go my way, to play God, I'm going to attract people that are just like that, that are a vibrational match for myself. And I used to be friends with someone that would like to take on projects. Or if you trauma bond with somebody and you think that if you just love them more, if you just love them enough, you just show them love like they've never felt before, then they'll want to be a better person. But that person is not going to want to be better unless they're ready, unless they're a vibrational match for what you're wanting them to be, unless they've put in the work to shed that fear, to shed that worry, that anxiety, that limited belief system, and those low vibrational emotions that they live in. Unless they're ready, unless they've done the work to really set that down and vibrate higher and make different choices for themselves, it's not ever going to work. It's not ever going to stick. They're going to go right back to it, and they're probably seeing someone that is their vibrational match behind your back the whole time that you're trying to fix them and love them into being a better person. All you're doing is pouring out your energy and wasting your time. You are dragging yourself down. You are wasting your precious commodity that is energy on something that's not ready to change. I know this former friend of mine, she would buy clothes for someone to dress them up, to make them look different, to make them more attractive to her, because she had the money and they didn't have the money, and they didn't have good taste in clothes. So she would try and make them a project and dress them up to be something different, and therefore she could show them off to her friends, and they would be sexier to her, more appealing. And in actuality, she was just putting a mask on them because they weren't ready to change. They weren't ready to be that person. They didn't do it on their own. So it's not genuine and authentic. They're going to go right back to being the vibrational person that they are, which was not any of those things. And they're going to take her for granted. They're probably going to walk all over her because they're not that. And no matter how much you try to make them be that, it's not going to stick if they're not ready to be that on their own. And the truth is, if they were a vibrational match to you, then they would have come into your life all on their own, being that person that you are already, to love you the way that you love yourself, to take care of themselves naturally and buy themselves clothes and pour into themselves with spoiling themselves, filling their own cup however they want their cup filled. Whether it's to get a nice car, they have a nice job, they're educated, they have valued their self-worth enough to raise their vibrations and be a better person so that they can attract what they deserve, what they are, what they're giving their self already, and not chase it in someone else. They're going to attract the level of love that they've given themselves, the level of things that they've given themselves. It's going to come in someone else. You're not going to have to give that to someone else. It's going to already show up as a mirror of yourself if you really embody that. And that goes the same with loving someone, whether you're giving them material things, if you're pouring your emotional energy into loving them, you're not ever going to make that right. You're not ever going to be able to heal their wounds if they're not ready to do the work to address their wounds and to feel that and to deal with it, to be healed on their own. If they're not ready for that, all of the love in the whole wide world is not going to be enough to fix that person. It's not going to be enough to make them want to love themselves and be who you need them to be so that they can love you like you deserve to be loved. They're never going to be that. It's never going to work. Won't change anything. So that also brings me to another point I wanted to make. That if you don't like what you're not trying to force, what naturally comes to you, if you're not looking for someone else at all, what naturally comes to you, if it's hurting you, if it's cheating on you, if it's lying to you, the worst thing that you can do is lie to somebody, because let me tell you, everything that happens in the dark comes to the light. They're going to know eventually, whether it's in real time or later, whatever, it's going to come to light. So telling someone a lie is only hurting yourself, because you're adding up your karmic debt. More bad things are going to happen to you. You are off path. You are off course. God doesn't lie to you. He doesn't want you to lie to other people. So you're in lower vibrations. You're not on your path. You're not loving someone unconditionally. You're not loving yourself unconditionally. So you're off course. And in the long run, when they find out, say if you're cheating on someone, if you just told them the truth and you let them leave, that they're not what you want, you're vibrating at a different level than them, and you might not understand that at the time, but you are attracting the person that you were cheating with. That is your vibrational match. So the person that you're with, that you're cheating on, is not your vibrational match. You are taking them for granted. You are feeding off of their energy more than likely. Just be honest with them. Just let them go so that they can go and get what they really deserve. Or they can work on themselves and raise their vibration so that they can attract what they deserve. Or if you're stealing from someone, more than likely, if you just told them that you needed the money, they would give it to you. You shouldn't have to lie and cheat for them to give to you. If they are on their right path and they love you unconditionally, if they have love for themselves and that's a healthy relationship, they would share whatever with you to a certain extent. I'm sure they would share to a healthy extent what they have with you to help you out if you were just honest and to begin with. So the truth is always best. Do not lie to people. Do not, well, I didn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you. Lying to them hurts them way worse than telling them the truth. The truth is doing them a favor. A truth is helping everyone. It frees them. Even if it means you're not going to be together, it still frees them so that they have all the information that they need to know to make the decision on how they want to proceed. That's a gift. Please give yourself and everyone else a gift of being honest. That is one of the most valuable things that you have to offer, is the truth. So if you don't like what you're matching up to, what's naturally gravitating towards you, if you're not chasing something, raise your vibrations. Raise them up. I've done a lot of videos, but you can do your research on how to raise your vibrations, because what you might love to do that naturally raises your vibrations is going to be different. Not everybody likes to run. Not everybody likes to dance. Not everybody likes to journal, eat well. That's one thing with fasting, is things that I didn't realize. If I fasted and I broke away from everything that I was doing for a few days. And then I go back to a somewhat similar routine. You're not going to go back to everything because that was the point. But if I go back to some of the things, I'm going to see that it wasn't good for me. You give yourself a break from it. You're helping the conditioning fall away. You're creating new habits for yourself. So just like that cheat day on your diet that I keep talking about, it's going to feel gross. So when you start incorporating things back into your life after you fasted, say like coffee for me, I already know that caffeine is not good for me, that it's a drug. It's not natural. So I knew that if I went back to it, and I probably would, that I shouldn't go back to it in the way that I did every day. Not like without any breaks. I always drink coffee every day. And then the amount of sugar that I put in coffee. Now that I went back to the coffee, I see that it speeds my heart rate up. It makes me feel anxious, which is low vibrational things. Um, the sugar, it makes my body feel gross. It's low vibrational. I need to cut those things out. Your body will tell you as you reincorporate things, as you step away from them so that you can become subjective. You are pressing reset so that when you incorporate things back in, if they don't feel right, if your body tells you they don't feel right, get rid of that. Listen to your body. Your body is telling you how to vibrate high. And once you raise your vibrations, you will start to pour into yourself, give care to yourself, love yourself, take good care of yourself. Make sure you set aside time to do that. And you will naturally bring in the things that are good for you. You won't have to work so hard to get money. You won't have to chase money. You won't have to chase love. Those things will automatically sync up with you. Just like if you're hanging around snakes, you're gonna be a snake, like it or not. If you continually hang around that energy, guess what? You're a snake. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to some of you guys that think that you have broke your generational curse because you're the black sheep. If you're still going around your family, even if it's just one day a year, you're still syncing up with them. You still are relating to them in some way. You're related. Even if it's not your blood family. If you're hanging out with them, friends, family, whatever, co-workers, you're syncing up to them. You have to break that. You have to break away from that. Same with me for sugar and caffeine. I have to break away from that. It's not good for me. It makes me feel anxious. The sugar makes me feel yuck and gross. I have to break away from that. And it's hard because things that you love make you feel comfortable. You're comfortable in that space, but you have to break away from being in that space if you want to change and vibrate higher. And that's the only thing that's going to bring better things into your life. More love for yourself is going to bring more love from other people, the right, healthy kind of love. Better things in your diet are going to make your body healthier. Therefore, you're going to attract healthier things, healthier people, people of that same mindset, that same lifestyle choice for their life. Same for anything. What you watch on TV, the more you pollute your brain with the fear-based media, with celebrity, you're wanting to be, you're admiring them. You're eating up the fear that the media is feeding you. That pollutes your body, that pollutes your mind, that is bringing you down into a low vibration because you're identifying with that. You are letting it root you. You are letting it pull your body down. Say like if something's vibrating really hard and you put a lot of weight on it, which those lower density things are heavy, it's not going to vibrate. It's going to be held down. It's going to be so worn out from trying to vibrate and not being able to. It's trying to get up. But this fear, this family, this media, this blogger, this celebrity that makes me think that their life is great and that I need to be like them and that my body's not right because it doesn't look like them. My life's not right because I don't have the car and the house that they have. All of these things that keep you held down. You're not going to vibrate high. These things are holding you down. You have to get rid of those things. And then your body will become much lighter, much lighter, and you will vibrate higher naturally by getting rid of those things, by getting rid of the meanings of those things. Stop identifying with it. Stop going around it. Stop thinking about it. Stop talking about it. Let that be an algorithm that no longer syncs up with your consciousness, with your body, with your spirit, anything. Get rid of it. Free yourself of it completely so that it's no longer part of your consciousness. No longer. And that way, things will automatically start coming into your life as they should. You won't have to kill yourself chasing love, chasing a better body, chasing a better life, chasing a better job. It will come naturally into your life because it is of the same vibration that you have made yourself vibrate at by freeing yourself of all of the lower density things. Hate, envy, jealousy, anger, fear, any of those things that hold you down, any of those attachments, friends that you don't resonate with that you need to let go. Every time they call you, they do nothing but complain, or they just want you to come over and fix their life, or anything that makes you feel bad. Your body is going to tell you, take a break from it. Isolate from everything for just a few days, at least 3 days. I'll say that, at least 3 days. Your body will reset. And when you go back to the old things, they will make you feel nasty inside. They will make you feel drained. Your body will feel that. It will tell you. All the bells and whistles will go off. However your intuition talks to you, everybody's talks to them differently. It will tell you, and it will let you know that's something you need to leave behind. It makes you feel gross. It brings you down. It makes you feel heavy. You're drained. It's not for you. It'll tell you what's not for you. And the only way that you can attract better things in your life is if you release those things. Notice that if you have a friend in your life that's a chronic complainer, a Debbie Downer, if you cut that person off, no matter what the emotional attachment, whatever meaning that you give, well, I've been friends with this person for years. That person may be sleeping with your husband behind your back. They may have a secret child. That's not your friend at all. You feel gross when you're around them. Listen to your body telling you that you feel gross around them. Let them go. I don't care how long you've been friends. However long you've been friends is however long you've been held back from elevating to the level that you need to go to live your best life, to be your most authentic self, to feel wonderful. Let it go. Let it go. Send it off with love and light. I experienced that. Thank you for the experience. I love you, but I'm going to be far away from you from now on because I don't want that in my life. I'm going up. You stay where you're at. I wish that you will vibrate higher and get rid of your pain and suffering so that you can be a better person and live a better life sometime in your life. And that's okay. You be where you are. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that for you. Everybody's on their own path and they all learn at their own level of understanding. That's okay. You don't have to hate on that. I don't like that person. You don't have to call your other friend. I don't like the person. I'm not talking to them. No. You're perpetuating more of those low vibrations by complaining and gossiping to someone else about that person. Just let it go. Just let it go. Release it. Release it. Wish it the best. Release it. Love it from afar. Appreciate the lessons that they taught you and the good times that you might have had. And let that be it. Let that be it. Move on. Move on. It's as simple as that. It might hurt in the moment, but once you do it, you'll start to realize the very next week, the very next day even, maybe even the moment after you make the decision and you block them. However, you decide to not continue that friendship or relationship, your life will change immediately. You will get rewarded for that and you will see it. You'll feel lighter. You won't have to deal with that anymore. Something will change. You will get a reward. The universe, God, yourself will reward you for letting that go. It always happens, never fails, never fails. When I released someone that I thought had been my friend since elementary school and my oldest friends, I had them in my wedding. I cried on their shoulder. Um, they made me feel comfortable. They made me feel like myself. I was trying to become a different person. And this person had been very deceitful to me. And no matter how long that we were friends, I realized that I needed to cut that off. They weren't good for me or my life. And as soon as I did that, my situation got better. Almost instantaneously got better. And that's how it is with anything that makes you feel gross, that makes you feel stuck, makes you feel heavy, worn out, drained. Anything and everything, if you just let it go with unconditional love, you will vibrate higher immediately and you will attract better things into your life. I promise. Start putting that into practice immediately, and you'll wonder why you wasted so much time eating, drinking, watching, being friends with, being in love with what you thought was love, something that was not good for you. I want the best for all of you. Even if you hate me, I want the best for all of you. Let go of those things that make you feel heavy, drained, nasty. Vibrate higher so that you can attract better things into your life without having to lift a finger. Just let it go. Release it with love and light. And don't go back to it either. I love you. God loves you. You're never alone. I'll see you later. Bye.